Um, no, not with the team we had this year. I mean, I knew we had a chance to do this. I think when you get in these situations, it's just it's so hard to win games in the NCAA tournament. Like there's so many things that can go against you. You play a hot goalie, you get a bad bounce, you get an unlucky call, something like that. So, even with us, you look at the Union game. And I don't know how many people are familiar with this, but that first goal last year and previous years, that's disallowed. The net was dislodged, and the new rule that they put in is if a defensive player dislodges the goal, but the goal is imminent, it's a goal. And this is the first time it's ever happened. So that's the first one that's ever really happened, I believe. I don't know if that happened in any other regionals. So that was a huge break for us. It's the right call that they made that change to the rule, because last year I think 3 goals got called back that should have been goals. So that's a big break for us. If this is a year ago, that goal's not in, it's nothing. Maybe it's a different hockey game.
Ray, what's your defensive philosophy other than having a great goaltender? What's enabled this team to be the best defense?
I really think it's our pressure. Like we don't want to sit back and play defense. I always say to the guys, we don't want to be back in the prevent defense and the nickel or dime defense using the football now. We're not good at that. We're not good at trapping. It's not something that's in our DNA. We want to go. We want to pressure. We want puck possession. We want to hound the puck. The Union game is a great example. They've got 3 phenomenal offensive defensemen, 14, 22, and 20. And we never let them have the puck. We never let them get going. Every time they started to look up the ice, there was a guy on them, and you just shut them down. It's the way to shut them down. And I think they only had 18 or 19 shots in the game. So I think I don't want to say our defense is our offense, but it's really our pressure. And it's relentless, and we stress it a lot that I always say to our guys, I really think our forwards are who win our hockey games for us. Our defense is great. Hartzell's the best goalie in the country, maybe the best player in the country. But if our forwards are going, it just makes their life so much easier. It allows them to defend easier. So, yeah.
Did your players feel the pressure going into Atlantic City of having been number 1 for 7 weeks? And you had mentioned that you were showing them some films from back during the unbeaten streak, and did that help them at all, kind of reestablish who they were?
Well, we tried to reestablish. I thought there was a lull there. I know middle of February on where our forecheck we kind of lost we started to sit back more of a prevent defense and be more of a 1 in and then kind of have 4 guys back, and that's not what we're good at. So I think we got out of that and started playing better. But obviously Atlantic City wasn't. The Brown game was one of our worst games of the year, and I'm still, that's inexplicable to me how we were that bad. It was just one of those things that happens. The guys, they wanted to play hard. It's a great group of guys, and we had a bad game. But I think right now, we're back to where we were early in the year when we were good, and I think that the Union game was a great example of how we are when our forwards are going and they're competing. Like we won a lot of races, a lot of loose pucks, a lot of battles.
Is it looser now that you've made the goal of getting to the frozen four? Do you guys have less pressure on you, more pressure on you?
I think it's been loose all year. It's like those guys have fun. There's been a couple maybe small moments this year that we haven't handled the pressure well, but I think for the most part it's a really loose group. They have a lot of fun. In years past, I would be nervous about the way our team approaches games and how much they goof around and how much fun they have on game day. But I haven't worried about it the last 2 years. Like this is just what these guys do, and if it works, it works. And so we stay the course. But it's a pretty loose group. Yeah.
Scouting St. Cloud State, what's your approach going into that contest and how you plan on attacking them to get to the next round?
Yeah, we have played them. We played them a couple years ago. We split with them out there, and then I think that was when Hartzell was a sophomore. And Hartzell's freshman year was we lost to him. I don't think we lost 2 to him. So we know a little bit about them, but it's a great hockey team. Coach Moscow is I think is one of the better coaches in our game, and he's a great person, and so it's a nice challenge for us. But they're the number 2 offense in the country. They got a great power play. They got kids on their 4th line that can score goals. Like it's a run and gun operation, and like we'll have to play defense. They got some great players. They probably have 9, 10, maybe 11 kids that have a chance to play in the NHL. So it's gonna be a handful for us. It's a really good hockey team. You win the WCHA, and you're a good hockey team.
Well, when it's all said and done for your guys, right?
Yeah.
What do you think NHL-wise on your roster? The 3 guys who Wrights are held, Eric.
I would say legitimately we have 68 guys that could play in the NHL. I think once you get to the AHL level, it's just a lot of it is the organization that you're in. Do they like certain guys? Do they like the way this kid plays? Do they like big goalies, like small goalies? So I think there's a little bit of luck involved. But I think we have probably 68 guys that have a real legitimate chance to make it.
Does that blow your mind a little bit? When you were making the trip to the North Rise Pavilion years
It doesn't shock me now. I mean, our kids coming in next year, we've got, there's probably another 3 or 4 or 5 of them that will have NHL potential. So I think this is something that's happened as we evolve. If you were going to say 10, 12 years ago, or go back 19 years when we were practicing at midnight at Hamden, yeah, I mean it's pretty amazing as to how far we've come.
Guys didn't seem to be talking about the game. They were excited, but it was really tempered.
Yeah.
Did we miss some of the excitement and the celebration?
You're like we had there was a media conference call for the NCAA earlier, and somebody asked that today. Said we didn't celebrate that. I didn't realize. I thought we did. I was overwhelmed. I'm hugging the guys on the bench. I think I hugged almost every player on the team. Like that's new to me. So I thought we were, but
after the game, they're just kind of like, yeah, we won. We're going to.
yeah. I mean, I think it's just the way the group handles it. It's there's a lot of players in that locker room that have won major tournaments, and I think we have almost 5 that have won the Royal Bank Cup, which is a national championship in Canada, which is a really huge deal for Junior A. We've got a bunch of other guys that have won Junior A tournaments or Junior A championships here. So there's a lot of winners in that locker room, and they are really focused about not just going to the Frozen Four and we want to win games. We want to beat St. Cloud, and then we want to win national championships. So that might have been a little bit. I didn't feel that at all in my mind. I think our guys, I think they enjoyed it. And I think our fans definitely enjoyed it, and it's definitely been big for our university.
Telling about the personality of your team here that John was just talking about. Right now it's all about college hoops, especially in Connecticut, with UConn women now headed to the Final Four themselves. If you're a sports fan in Connecticut, why root for you guys? Why even tune in next week if they don't even like hockey? What makes your team special?
Honestly, I'll answer that question. Like that's not something I control. Like if people want to be fans of our program, then be fans. Like I know there's so many options out there. Obviously, UConn dominates. UConn men's and women's basketball dominate the state, and that is what it is. You're never going to change that. For us, we control what's in front of us, and that's just playing good hockey. We've got good citizens. Our kids go to class. They get good grades. We do a phenomenal job in the community with things with youth hockey groups and Yale New Haven Hospital and the Cancer Ward. We all shaved our head this year for St. Baldrick's, raised $24,000. The coaches included. So I think we do a lot of great things in the community, and I don't feel like in answering your question I need to try to sell anybody. Like I think we have a great product, and if people want to come and watch us and tune in, it's a great group of guys, and it's obviously it's a nice story too. For Quinnipiac to be a national power in hockey or anything is a great story.
For people in Connecticut that do care, they know how big of a pickup JST was. Struggled a little bit points during the year, and you mentioned that your patience with him was so big around the Christmas break. What was going through your head around that time before he really took off again?
I think with Jordan, just in general, like it's been a great learning curve for him this year. He's always had the offensive ability, and had some struggles at Bowling Green, and I give him a lot of credit. Like he's matured and he's bought in. Like he realizes that he needed to change and become a better defensive hockey player, and become a more competitive player on the puck. And he's dedicated. He watches a ton of video. He wants every shift he plays. He watches with a coach or without a coach. Like he's really changed that type of his game. And I think the first step for any athlete of becoming better is you have to be accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable, and he's done that and done a great job. And I think as a coaching staff, we have been patient with him, and we need to do that, and we're reaping the benefits of that. So even early in the year, he was scoring for us, but it wasn't doing what he needed to do defensively. But he keeps getting better, and he keeps getting better, and I think that's part of being a good coach. Like you need to let your players develop and have some patience with them, and certainly now he's been great. He was awesome this weekend.
What was the thought process putting him on the line with Bryce and Ben there?
Early in the year? We started the year, he was on the line with Langlois. And I was really trying to load up 2 lines and then have just a good solid third line that would compete and a reliable fourth line. And then, Jordan and Langer they didn't have any chemistry. It just wasn't going. There wasn't a lot of chemistry. Both players possess the puck a lot. And I said to my staff, I'm like, there's not enough pucks to go around out. There's only 1 puck for the 2 of them. So it didn't work, and we weren't winning, so we split them. And I thought, well, we'll just go with a great second and third line. And that was probably the best decision I made all year, because I think Jordan, along with Ben and Bryce on that third line, has been awesome. There's games where that's our best line by far. And I think everybody who watched this weekend, they're raving about the Pekka-Jones line, but you know what? You've seen our games this year. There's a lot of games where, Arnie's line was our best line. I mean, there was a while there they were our best line for a while, and then there's other games when Langlois carried this team in November and December, and so I think it's nice how we've had some balance from those three lines. And then lately, the fourth line's been chipping in. You know, Hibbler and Bowie have been scoring too, so it's a sign of a good team.
Brandon, did you call Ethan Lane, or did he call you, or did you keep your respective cool distance?
No, we haven't any I had several coaches in the league that congratulated me. I haven't gotten around to it. Normally, I would always congratulate a coach that made it to the Frozen Four. I will send him an email at some point this week. I just haven't got to it, but that's usually what most of the coaches do. But no, we haven't had any contact yet.
What do you make of the whole thing,
Oh,
right? The
sorry.
fact that, you know, the two schools so close to each other, I mean, playing, you know, in this potentially for a national championship.
I mean, it's great for Connecticut. I think it's great for you, the media. It's a great story. But I mean, again, like I said earlier, for us, like you could pick any three teams you want and put us in the Frozen Four, and I'm good with it. You know, like we know we're gonna go there. There's gonna be three great teams there that we're gonna have to battle with. So, you know, it certainly is an unusual circumstance that you got schools 8-10 miles apart that are both going and both going for the first time. So. I'll let you guys handle that aspect of it.
When you play those guys, do you get on 91, or do you go straight down?
You know what? That's a great question. I live in Southport, so I drive myself to the game, and I have my assistant stay. No, I think we go 91. Yeah. It's a little 15-minute bus ride, but we do take a bus. Yeah.
You mentioned the battles, having to go to one of them to stand next to schools like North Dakota and Minnesota. How does the visibility that the team's going to get the next couple weeks help you win those battles in the future?
In recruiting?
Yes.
I mean, it's even with us, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to go head to head with Minnesota and win, especially if it's Minnesota. Like, you're not going to win if it's a Minnesota kid. It's not going to happen. You know, we have won some battles with some of the big boys, and it's not. We know when you want to go head to head with a top 10 team recruiting, it's most likely you're not going to win that battle. But we only need to win 1 out of 20, and then we have our stud. And like next year's class, which I won't comment on individually, but we've got some big-time players that we beat out big-time schools for. So, again, we're going to lose a lot of those battles, but as long as we win a couple, that's where we get the Pekka and the Joneses and the Jeremy Langloises of the world. And would I like to have 28 of them? Yeah. But we have to be realistic, and I think we have to continue to do a good job of getting good players and developing them ourselves, which I think we've done. I think that's, we're reaping the rewards of that right now. We have a lot of kids in our team right now that have gotten better since they got here. I mentioned Federico earlier. Bryce Van Rebrand has been awesome this year for us, just awesome. And last year he was kind of off and on the fourth line, didn't play a lot. Now he's killing penalties for us. I'm putting him out there for big face-offs. He was awesome against Union. I don't know if anybody remembers him, but he had about 8 or 9 hits. Like, that sets the tone for us, and he's really blossomed into a kid and went from a player that I believe we're the only school that offered him. I think he was the only school that wanted him, and he had some other sniffs and stuff, but now he's got a chance to play in the NHL one day with his size and the role that he plays for us. So I think if we can continue to do that and continue to make kids better, that's the route we need to go, and then try to win some battles with the big boys and do the best that we can.
2 more questions?
Coach, getting back to the important stuff, did you schedule the birth of your child for tomorrow because of the Frozen Four? How did that all work out? And if it's a boy, Eric?
No, no. I didn't skip. My wife handled all that. It's just that's when the due date is, and they're gonna induce her, and that's what the doctor decided upon. So the date was picked a little while ago. So I don't know if my wife was involved in that. She's obviously a huge fan too, but I had nothing to do with it personally, so directly.